Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Friday edition of Moohead Radio. I am your host, a big and furry bovine. Oh, a sad day today in the world of rock and roll. He bought one ticket to paradise. I'm sorry. Poor Eddie. Eddie had a reality show on Access Television that nobody watched. And the only way that they could get the ratings boosted, for God's sakes, was for him to get cancer. It's just a really kind of a sad thing. You know, I know that the producers of that show were probably saying to themselves, I think we made a mistake on this Eddie Money thing. It's like, wait a minute. He's got esophageal cancer. Oh, this could be a boon for us. Hell yeah.
That audience, the bigger spotlights.
That audience could be as big as Moohead Radio's audience.
Oh, yeah. Look at all the numbers.
I know. We're just joining me is Jake and Rick. Roxanne's not going to be here today. She's actually sick.
Oh.
Under the weather. Somewhere under the weather. Now, I wanted to explain. I was uploading the karaoke song to YouTube, and it's really funny. It's amazing. The thing you don't want people to see, that's what everyone tunes into. The program, fuck the program. Nobody cares about that. But you know, it's like the comedian said, you fuck just one sheep. That's kind of the way it goes. Yeah, one karaoke song, and that's all it took, and it was over with. And and it killed Eddie Money. I mean, let's be honest about it. My karaoke song killed Eddie Money. So I feel guilty. So please do not bother me with all of that shit. I can't handle it right now. Today's show is entitled Dumb and Dumber. I'm really losing my patience. And I'm going to start out with Odell Beckham Jr. Instantly, my least favorite player on the roster. I wish he'd shut his fucking mouth. The guy is a me first guy. He's got to have attention all the time. Talented receiver, great hands, but he's a fucking pain in the ass. And all of this stupidity of bringing up Gregg Williams shit, knowing that Gregg Williams already has a fire to stoke regarding the Browns not getting the head coaching position. Why bring it up? From the watch to the Gregg Williams thing. I mean, look, if Odell Beckham really believes that he was targeted by Brian Body Calhoun in a preseason game, and that was the reason he ended up breaking his ankle, and that it was because Gregg Williams told Brian Body Calhoun to do it. If that's what he believes, I'll give you a couple of things. Where are all the Browns players backing him up on this one? Kind of like walking a gangplank, folks. Nobody wants to get into that mess. So I can tell you right off the bat, this is what he thinks. Why he brings it up now, I have no damn idea. He's a fucking moron. And I'm so tired of flakes. Talent means something only if you're engaged mentally to play the game. I want to remind Cleveland fans, he ain't Jerry Rice, okay? This is not a person who can put his business first. This is a person who puts his headlines first. And it's sickening. He brings this cancer with him from New York and brings it to a team that doesn't need it. He was targeted nonstop in week 1 to the detriment of the rest of the team. We, last year, so far, we're better without him than we are with him. And so far, all he has done is make goofy, stupid headlines. And it's J.R. Smith-esque. It's overly self-indulgent. This is the year that the Cleveland Browns are trying to be taken seriously, trying to make that big leap and bound from being the perennial sisters in the league to becoming a playoff credible football team. If you felt like Gregg Williams did this to you, you stupid fuck, then play your ass off on the field. Have your biggest game. Get focused. Work hard. Shut up. Especially after losing a game 43-13. Shut the fuck up. Now, I'll combine this with my next perspective. Stupid is as stupid does. Stupidity seems to be the word of the day. We have a Texas lawmaker who's telling Beto O'Rourke that he's going to go after him with an AR-15. And yes, he's a member of the state legislature, folks. We are living in crazy and stupid times. So what does Gregg Williams do? He takes the bait. Odell who? That's what he says in his press conference. You want to know why you're not a head coach, you stupid fuck? It's because you have no control over your mouth. You're a fucking idiot. And then to sit there, I mean, I don't know if you can even fathom this. I will quote him. This is in his press conference before the game regarding coaching players to injure people. We don't do that. Never done that anywhere I've been. What? What?
Chortle.
I mean, what in God's name? He also scoffed at the perception that Beckham is a dynamic player. Oh, let's ridicule Odell. He sucks. Thank you, Greg. Greg Brady would be a goddamn better head coach than Gregg Williams. I was going to say Forrest Gregg, but no, on second thought.
Had a moment of clarity there, right?
Yeah, no, I wasn't going to go that far. The polarizing Williams got testy and tried to change the subject, but you knew that Bountygate was not far behind. And I don't mean the paper towel, folks. If you don't know what Bountygate is, don't look up Nancy Walker on Google. Look, you have to be my age to understand what I'm saying. Look up Bountygate and you'll understand. Was that right or wrong? He asked again. I don't want to talk about that. Do you want to talk about Cleveland? Well, that's where we're playing, buddy. Williams said he teaches his players to play within the rules. Boy, I'll tell you, I want my kids playing for him. However, it was mentioned that he was caught on tape telling his players to injure Michael Crabtree when he was a member of the 49ers. Well, you wonder why he's not a head coach. That will explain it.
Since when do they do media for the assistant coaches? That's my question. I've never heard an assistant coach getting this much attention for a game.
Why do they let him? Why does an organization allow him to do that? I don't get it either. You know, they can't just shut their mouths. They can't do it. And this is supposed to be a team game. I can tell you all about the great wide receivers. You know, Steve Largent. Do you remember Steve Largent shooting his mouth off, or Fred Biletnikoff? Do you remember him shooting his mouth off? I mean, do you remember any of the guys who were considered the greatest? Raymond Berry. I remember Raymond Berry telling a guy to go fuck his mom. I mean, come on. The best receivers in the history of the game. He ain't no Paul Warfield, Cleveland fans.
Maybe Randy. Only one I could think of.
You know. Then Gregg Williams went on to say, "This is not part of what we do." Okay. And a little anger management. You believe what you believe. The people that know me, I don't have to defend it. No, you don't have to do anything. You don't even have to be up there talking, you stupid fuck. Coach. And you know, this is the era of talk is cheap. We had it with Quay Jackson for how many fucking years? Talk is cheap. We play hard, fast, and physical, Williams said. Where was that last year?
Okay. Well, last year was hardly physical. That's where the difference is.
My God. Make it stop. Dear God. Defensive end Leonard Williams said Williams doesn't coach players to injure opponents, but he acknowledged there's a delicate balance. This is what you call
Way of saying,
Only step on their ankle 2 seconds after the play, not 3.
What whistle? I thought I heard a whistle.
Yeah. And
I didn't mean
Bonte's Perfect said, bullshit.
Yeah.
Oh,
Come
my
up with such nonsense.
He tells us to get the ball out, impose our will, be nasty on defense, hit the ball carriers, carry an Uzi, shoot somebody in the head, threaten their family, burn their house down, burn the entire village down, and then fuck their wives and children. But I don't consider that to be over the edge, he said.
Just sound defense.
Meanwhile, Freddie Kitchens wanted no part of the story on Friday. I don't have anything to say about that, he said, of Beckham's accusations. I haven't seen anything, and I coached with the guy for a year. Kitchen said Beckham hasn't expressed any concerns about Williams to him. Well, of course not, because that would have blown the headline. You know, if Freddie really had the balls that Freddie says he has, sit him down. Sit him down. Fuck him. Win without him. Fuck him. Lost cause. Browns fans, lost cause. He was going to start all over clean, remember? I'm coming from New York, but this is like a new lease on life for me. No, it's not. Second verse, same as the first. But that's not all. You're saying, Mr. Moohead has shot his bolt. Well, now there is Malcolm Butler, and that's exactly what he would be if he weren't a football player. It's not enough to win. It's not enough to win and get a pick six. It's not enough to win on the road and get a pick six. You got to make headlines by telling Myles Garrett his team's got no heart. Thank you, sir. May I have another? What is it? What is it with these people? Isn't millions of dollars enough? Winning and being paid millions of dollars, is that enough? I mean, everybody knows that I am sympathetic toward the players and CTE and all of the brain damage and the danger of the game. Everybody knows that. But I'm starting to run out of patience. You are, after all, an employee. Shut your fucking mouth. You don't know when you might see the Cleveland Browns again, Malcolm Butler. And you know something? One of the Browns is going to be fucking your mouth. The other will be fucking your ass, and you'll be Malcolm in the middle.
And you thought we wouldn't get that show in, folks, huh?
I'm topical. I am topical. So that's how we start out the program today. Now we have Terry Pluto warning us that the Cleveland Browns need to change their game plan. What game plan? Thank you, Cod. Cod must have spoken to him in his sleep. I have no fucking idea. I wish it would just go away forever. I really do.
I think last week worked out very well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We didn't win, but we did finish second.
Yeah. Yeah.
Only 30 points behind.
You know, I want to go out and not run the ball again against a team that gave up 128 yards on the run in their first game this season. I want to go out and whipping the ball all over the place and throw 80% of the time to Odell Beckham. That's what I want to do. I want to go out and repeat the same thing. You know, Freddie said we're not going to change anything in our preparation, and Terry Pluto's taking him at his word. You know,
Nick's going to come out there with a sticker on his shirt that says, "Hello, my name is Nick," just to reintroduce himself.
Do you know if Terry Pluto had a little sock puppet, you know, it would have a mouth and it would just be. All right, enough of that. It wouldn't be a show without a Terry Pluto masturbation reference. The masturbating Christian. But he's sorry he did it, folks. He's really sorry he did it. So were his kids who were watching. No. Terry signs books, and it's like, no, don't touch my book. Don't touch my book, please. I like the pages unstuck, please. I don't want to open up chapter 1 and go right to chapter 2. Okay.
But he's a pair of gloves first.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Put these on first, please.
You know, it's crazy to think that the Browns actually game planned in week 1. It doesn't seem possible, but alas, they did. And now Terry Pluto says, we got to run the ball. We got to get Nick Chubb the football. But I'll tell you something else. The most important thing, in my mind, is you've got to check down. You can't throw everything downfield. This isn't like playing, you know, NFL football on a game console. Oh, I'm just going to throw bombs. Yeah. You got to have a cohesive offense. And to go along with that, you got to have an offensive line. And if you don't, you better get rid of the ball quicker. So the way I look at it is game planning. I want to see Chubb with the ball in his hands, but on the passing end as well as the running end. I want to see, I take it that there's no, that Dearness Johnson will be playing, that we don't have Hilliard back from concussion protocol, right?
I don't think so, no.
Right. I want to see balls being thrown out to the running backs, get a little extra yardage. I want to see some nice little pick plays to get Jarvis the ball. I want to see some intermediate passing. I don't want to worry about the vertical game with Odell Beckham Jr. You know, I don't care about that. You got to be able to wear down the New York Jets. Now, and the way you do it is by running an offense that is brisk, that is crisp. And I don't mean a no-huddle offense. I mean you drop, you go back, you scan the field, you get rid of the ball. On the sack that was the safety, do you know how long Baker Mayfield held onto the ball when he got sacked for a safety? Any guesses?
Probably about, what, 4 to 5 seconds maybe? He was scrambling around a little bit before they got brought down.
4.7 seconds. 4.7. I mean, there ain't. I mean, and I'm not going to tell you that the Browns have a good offensive line, but geez, oh, Pete, you can't hold on to the ball on play action 4.7 seconds in your end zone. You can't do that, and that's a huge problem. You've got to be able to check down and take first downs, and then you got to strike when the opportunity is there, but it's got to be in a rhythm. We saw all this last year where it was, God only knows. Now, Amsterdam, don't try to provoke poor Derek. Leave him alone. I went to Derek's channel. I felt bad for him because some of my viewers were trolling him because he's young, and that's not fair. You know, let a young guy make his way in broadcasting. I was a young guy once, and, you know, I sucked when I was young too. But no, that's how you get better, you know? My God, give the guy a break. Saying rude things about Derek's mother. Why? What's the point? So I won't do that. Not today, anyway. I'm too angry at OBJ for that. So what you can do with the offensive line that we don't have, it limits you. You'd better be able to run the football to make play action work. You got to be able to freeze people in their drops. You got to be able to open the middle and that dead zone between the linebackers and the cornerbacks. And you got to do that with the perpetual threat of a run.
Yeah, every big run last week was held back by holding. So they had to just give up on it. I feel like 1st and 20, you can't run the ball. It takes it all out of the game plan. So
yeah,
huge
18 penalties will kill a good run game.
I mean, I don't understand why Odell Beckham played every snap in that football game when he hadn't even played anything in the preseason. You know, there's a lot of things about this first game that really worry me about Freddie Kitchens' judgment. Has it gone to his head? Is he one of those guys who just would have been a really good offensive coordinator because he's unpredictable, but as a head coach, the unpredictability just wears off real quick? I mean, Olivier Vernon in there for 92% of the snaps and Beckham in for 100%. I mean, people didn't barely play. You're asking for injuries here. You're begging for injuries. And it's I don't get it. I don't understand when you have depth on the defensive line, why you would play people on the defensive line 90% of the time and just let other people just sit there and do nothing. Jannard Avery was inactive. Did you know that?
Where?
Jannard Avery didn't even play. He was on the inactive list. Could have used a pass rusher out there, don't you think? I didn't see one. You know, even in a lousy football game, Chubb carried the ball only 6 times in the first half. You know, after all the talk, the Browns were going to go out and really do something by running the football. As far as the Jets are concerned, well, you know that our Browns ranked 28th against the run in the Gregg Williams defense, and the Jets allowed 5.1 yards per carry in their opening loss to Buffalo. I mean, now, you would think you would have no choice. And the other thing is, how long are you going to put up with the inconsistencies of Njoku? You know, the thing that's going to damn this football team, if anything, is this label of talent. Talent, you know, look at Njoku. He's got all the physical tools and assets, except he doesn't consistently catch the ball and he doesn't block. You know?
But aside from that,
yeah, all the good things in the world that he has a high ceiling mean nothing when you're still in the basement. Also, we know this. If you want to attack Gregg Williams, you got to throw to your tight ends because that's what teams did against us last year. You remember. They were taking advantage of our linebackers caught in coverage, and that's how we discovered that Schobert and Kirksey couldn't stay with tight ends. You know what kind of defense Williams is going to throw at you, so you have to be able to get rid of the ball quickly. And the defense will wear down. They'll wear out. If they're just really firing off the line of scrimmage, they're going to be guessing counts. They're going to hop off sides. They're going to, if you hold on to the ball longer and they keep expending energy like that, and you just keep with crisp, short, precise plays, they will overcommit and the big play will open up for you. And they'll be tired. And that's what will probably open up a big play against this team. Horrible thing about Chris Smith's girlfriend, mother of his child.
Yeah.
I just cannot, this season is getting off to a very, very difficult start. And I know some people are saying it's a Sports Illustrated thing, I don't know what it is, but that kind of situation, it really puts in perspective a young woman like that hit by somebody who was drinking. We hear the story far too often, and it's really a shame. I don't know. I mean, if I were in his shoes, maybe I'd continue playing just to try to keep my mind off that. But now, how are you going to take care of that child? How are you going to do that? Play football, be on the road. I mean, there are some things that I can't fathom why these kind of things happen. It's really a very painful thing. And Christian Kirksey and Demarius Randall are dedicating all these games that are coming up to Chris Smith. It's I really don't know what to say. The accident happened on I-90, and I've driven that road a gazillion times. A woman in a 2017 Mazda 3 approached the disabled Lamborghini. The Mazda veered to the right side of it, striking the open passenger side doors. And then Cordero, the girlfriend of Chris Smith, who was pronounced dead at Fairview Hospital. How does it happen? We get into talking about stuff, and I know the automatic rifle thing is obviously a sensitive subject. Obviously, all handguns are a sensitive subject. But you know something? I have always seriously wondered how businesses exist with the sole function of serving people liquor to excess when they have to drive to get it. I really am lost on this as far as logic. I have nothing against, and I'm going to say the same thing I say about handguns. It isn't that I want to ban alcohol. I think that if you drink alcohol in your home, it's fine. But if you drink alcohol outside of your home and you commit that kind of a situation where you go behind the wheel and you kill or maim or injure somebody, you go to jail. And all of these bars should just be shut down. You have liquor stores, you bring unopened containers home. If you have a party at your house, you make sure that people have a way to get home. You don't rely on them to drive to your party and drive back. Send out Ubers for them. If you know there's going to be drinking, be responsible. But you see, the problem is we can't be responsible with this stuff. We can't. And I don't get it. We can't be responsible with our God-given right to carry weapons. We can't be responsible. We kill innocent people with them. And it comes down to the level of responsibility of a person, and it's a race we don't have it. I can tell you the stories I've heard about. My wife was a claims adjuster. The stories about alcohol-induced accidents, of drag racing on suspension bridges, people playing the Fast and the Furious, loaded up with alcohol and ending up killing themselves or somebody else. I heard these stories every week. And we make this great story about handguns and assault rifles, and right under our noses, these things are happening. It's just, I know this is serious, but it's senseless. This woman should still be alive. She should spend the rest of her life with her child. It shouldn't be like this, man. But it is. All regrets that I can throw out, all sympathies to Chris Smith, the Cleveland Browns organization, all the players. And I would be remiss if I didn't add something else in this somber part of the program. Fred McLeod, who I never had the opportunity to speak with. I want to be open about this at the same time that I'm saying what I'm saying. I felt Michael Reggai got a raw deal when Dan Gilbert took over the Cleveland Cavaliers. Michael is a friend of mine. He's a good guy. I know he's a bit temperamental, and he'd be the first to admit it, but most air talents, well, they are. I've worked with so many of them. Good play-by-play man, good mastery of the language. Fred McLeod was in Detroit. Dan Gilbert was from Detroit. And it made sense because Fred McLeod worked in Cleveland for a good long time, and he wanted to come back to Cleveland. It was a great opportunity. He did Pistons games for 22 years. This is a great opportunity to come back. Every person I spoke to, every person through the years told me that what a good guy Fred McLeod was, what a nice man he was. I just don't have the clout to get guests on this program because why? I mean, when I take off the cow suit like I'm doing now, if I were to do straight interviews with people, I don't know, for what? For a couple of hundred viewers? I don't think so. But to wake up and find out that at 67 years old, he passed away when he was just at the Browns game the day before. Did they ever disclose a cause of his passing?
No, he had cancer for a long time. But I don't know if it was in remission and this is something else, but I know he battled cancer for a minute. So,
see, I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
But I mean,
he had cancer like 12 years ago, and it's been on and off thing for him. But I thought it was in remission, to my knowledge.
Yeah. I mean, I guess he was out and about and he was doing his thing. And the next thing you know, this happens. And it's been a hard.
It was a heart attack. It was a heart attack, officially. Yeah.
At 67. And so our play-by-play announcer passed away, and our owner had a massive stroke. This has been a tough year. It's been a tough year for Cleveland sports. And again, I don't know what to say, how to put this into any, for those people who follow Matt Lodi on Facebook, Matt has been going through hell with stage 4 pancreatic cancer and is publicly waging his battle on Facebook. Guy who's been in Northeast Ohio sports for ages, a religious guy, and a guy who's fighting the best battle he knows how. Right now, I mean, it's tough. it's tough being part of Northeast Ohio sports with all of this stuff going on. And, you know, we all want to talk football. We all want to talk Browns. We all want to, you know, yell and scream about the Indians or whatever. But I wanted to take a large moment of the program to express sympathies to all of these folks, because life is unpredictable and you never know what's around the corner. All right, back to sports before I get weepy about this. The Browns did hold a voluntary meeting on Wednesday, and the players did spend their time with Chris Smith, offering whatever support that they could. And I don't know what good that does, but it's good. Maybe it makes the team closer. I don't know. As far as what's going to happen come Monday night, we're all a little bit wiser. We'll go to the panel right now. Sam Darnold has got mono. And now the pressure's really on. You're going into New York facing a second string quarterback. And God forbid, if the Cleveland Browns lose this game, Don Meredith is going to start singing in his grave. What do you make? Trevor Siemian, did you ever watch him play with the Broncos? He's 13-11. He has a winning record as a starting quarterback. So does Drew Stanton. All right, so we counterbalance this. Of all quarterbacks since 2016, he has the worst QBR, 42, the worst. He's got a strong arm, but doesn't always locate the ball where it needs to be located. And in preseason, completed an abnormally high percentage of his passes by throwing nothing but checkdowns. Le'Veon Bell has a shoulder problem, but is still expected to go. They're going to need to control the football and check the football down. Now, before I go to my panel, our defensive coordinator, Steve Wilkes, was unhappy with the players and the way they responded to the initial pressure of playing in front of the hometown fans. What do you guys do with Trevor Siemian at quarterback? Tell me now, and we'll start with Jake. Tell me what you do if you're Wilkes to make sure that this unthinkable thing won't happen.
I don't like saying this because I think all corners have trouble in coverage, especially deep with today's rules. I'd make them throw it deep. I really would. I'd almost stack the box and they can beat you. Which is risky. Risky on the road. I know calls might not go away, but I would definitely make them beat you.
Well, my first reaction to that is he's a career 59% completion guy, and he's not very accurate. Why give him the opportunity to make a big play with a strong arm when the odds of him being able to move the football 70, 80 yards down the field and put together that kind of a composed drive is unlikely because of accuracy issues? Response?
Oh, I think he can check the ball down regardless. And I don't know the health of Bell. He's obviously going to play, but not the whole game. If he beats you deep, if he catches you in a pass interference, but I would make him beat you early. If he prove he can, yeah, you change it up. But make him be the pressure holder, especially early.
Now, Rick, I guess the way I look at it is we're paying a lot of money for a defensive line that underachieved in week one. The front four, whoever it's composed of at any given moment in time, assuming they're not all playing 90% of the snaps again, you got to put pressure with your front four and not have to commit necessarily all resources to blitzing. I mean, to me, the easiest way to stop Trevor Siemian is to pressure him up front with your four guys. The same way that you stop his running game is really with your defensive line. And if he does have a little extra time to throw the football, you have more coverage. What do you think?
Yeah, I think the pressure has to be on him, and we also have to keep Bell in check. I mean, I think the MRI was for his shoulder, but he says he's fine. He's going to be able to play. We can't have him running around loose either. I mean, we saw what Henry did to us last week, and we certainly don't need him out in the flats catching checkdowns as well. So we have to keep an eye on him. But I think we just have to put the pressure on Simeon because it's like all of a sudden he's in the spotlight, and he, a few days ago he wasn't ready, he wasn't expecting it. So we just have to, pressure him. And for the love of God, cut down on those stupid penalties. Here's an idea, play smart, if that's possible.
Well, if you're wondering, the lowest total QBR since 2016, Trevor Siemian at 42, Brock Osweiler at 46, Eli Manning at 47. Wow. And Blake Bortles at 48. That's the holy foursome, the not so fearsome foursome. The thing is that Siemian hasn't even played a regular season game since December of 2017. And he was a backup in Minnesota behind Kirk Cousins and didn't even get to come off the bench. So now he's got to play with Luke Falk behind him as the number 2 quarterback. All the more reason to put pressure on Siemian. But here's the problem for the Jets. There is a problem. This isn't just as bad as it looks. It's worse because there's no timeline. Mononucleosis I had when I was in college. And if you're not aware of what happens with mono, everyone knows that you get weak and, but the real danger is the spleen. Your spleen is in jeopardy when you have mono. So they ain't going to let him take any hits or anything. And how long it takes to get rid of mono? I missed an entire quarter of college at Miami of Ohio, where I started school. That was my freshman year. I missed the entire first quarter of the season. They did quarters at Miami. They didn't do semesters.
Yeah, I was dumb when I had it. I was not allowed to play official sports, but it was my first year of college, so I just played basketball and flag football anyways. But yeah, I knew they wouldn't clear me if I was still in high school.
I mean, the problem for New York, the Browns may well be the easiest game that they have ahead of them. It's at home, and they're coming off a horrible loss. After that, they got to play New England, at New England. They got to
play twice into 3 weeks, I think.
That's right. A week for a bye, then at the Eagles, at home against the Cowboys, and then you got to go back to the Patriots again, play them at home. I mean, that would be a tough task for the Jets as they're constructed now. But it seems like an unscalable mountain.
I heard that McDonald could miss close to a month because of this.
So they're not expecting
most of those games.
Well, the coach even said, I'm glad we have an early bye week because this is going to be a 5-week thing at least. So,
well, here's the deal. What the Jets know about Siemian is that against the Jets, he completed 19 of 31 passes for 200 yards in a 23-0 win when he played all the way back when he was with the Denver Broncos. They must have remembered that when they gave him a 1-year, $2 million deal. The thing is if he gets pass protection, like most quarterbacks, he will hurt you. He's got a big arm. You've got to find a way to get pressure and make him get the ball out way too fast. You got to speed the game up because he's not up to speed.
If Cleveland willed it under their own spotlight last week, this week's going to be the national spotlight. When they kick off, they're the only game in town.
Yeah, I mean, there's pressure on both teams. I think there's more pressure on the Browns because if you can't beat the second string quarterback and a team who also has an offensive line problem and who one of their wide receivers, starters, Quincy Anunwa, he's gone with the neck injury. He's gone for the season. And if Le'Veon Bell doesn't play, all they got is Ty Montgomery and Bilal Powell. That's it. And now Ryan Khalil, the old guy who they brought out of retirement, he's been snapping strictly with Darnold, and now he's got to start snapping to a quarterback he's never played in front of before in his life. It's and for those fans who are Adam Gase fans, if you remember back in 2017, he was offensive coordinator. He lost Ryan Tannehill, prompting the Dolphins to get Jay Cutler. Do you remember that fiasco?
Oh, jeez.
And that didn't end up very good. So, you know, there is no logical reason why the Browns shouldn't win this football game, but God almighty.
There's going to be that little bit of doubt in the back of your mind. It's like, what can they do this time? What's going to happen?
Exactly. I mean, you look at the spread on this game, Cleveland's a negative 6.5. You know.
I would never, ever bet that.
No.
No.
Never bet a touch game in the NFL.
Yeah. I mean, it's the Browns had 3 wideouts on the field, 60 of the 63 snaps. That's 95%. And that was their second most snaps with 3 wide receivers in a game over the last 10 seasons. It didn't result in a single thrown touchdown. He threw 3 interceptions.
1 pick six.
Every single one of the interceptions were targeted at Beckham and Landry. Fact. Cleveland has not been a road favorite of at least 5 points since 1995. The FPI prediction says the New York Jets have a 0.8% of chance of winning by an average of 3.2 points. There will be no excuses. We get to pick the winner. Guys, this is our chance to get it right. Rick?
Well, blind faith, I guess. I'm going to pick the Browns, but it's going to be like, I don't see a whole lot of scoring. 21-17.
Jake?
17-14.
Right. My feeling is that the Browns will win the game 27-13. I think what you're probably going to see is what you saw with Gregg Williams' defenses is that as the game wears on, they wear down because they're on the field far too much. And with the second string quarterback, if we get them off the field, they're going to wear down, especially playing the attack kinds of football. They're going to need the turnovers, the takeaways that Gregg Williams preaches in order to get field position for Trevor Siemian. That is got to be the way they look at this. But the Browns have weapons. The Browns are okay on their offensive line as far as health is concerned. Lamb is the one example, the backup who he's gone with the knee injury, but the rest of the offensive line is as it's supposed to be. It isn't very good, but it's healthy. And we just brought in yet another guy. We're bringing in guards. We're bringing in offensive linemen. And again, it makes me wonder why Dorsey wasn't more proactive about this earlier when we sensed that this was a problem with the team. 27-13 Browns. And I think that Then we go in, to play the Rams the next week. Is that right? I mean,
Sunday night game, nationally televised.
so, the Browns need this one, because if you lose this one, I fear that the season is lost if you lose 43-13 and then you lose to the Jets with their backup quarterback who hasn't played in 2 years. You have to have it. You've got to play a sound football game, and it's going to be a challenge. But I believe they can do it. There's no reason why they can't, but I guess I'm concerned. I want to see Freddie said he was going to fix it. Take him at his word.
See what he does.
Let him fix it and see if he can. Before I get out of here, 2 retirements. Torrey Smith, gone after 8 NFL seasons. He predominantly played with the Ravens. We know him well, in division player. 30 years of age, 2 Super Bowl titles, 5,100 plus yards of receptions. He had a 16.1 yard average in yards per catch. That's a good career.
He had that great catch against Denver, right?
Yeah. That's right.
I remember him from, but
the helmet catch, right?
Wasn't it like the 4th and 14 that was like a touchdown or something?
I thought it was the helmet catch. Did he do the helmet?
That was
catch?
David Tyree.
That was Tyree from the Giants, from Eli.
Oh, okay, that's right.
It was
Against the Patriots.
And he had like a 45-yard touchdown.
Yeah, it's a good career, and if he's getting out, I hope he's got all of his marbles unscrambled. And all respect due to 3-time NBA champion Sean Livingston, former Cleveland Cavalier, who resurrected his career after seemingly impossible odds with an injury that was so gruesome nobody thought he would come back, to end up winning 3 NBA championships and being a pivotal part of a championship team. 15 seasons in the league, retiring at 34. Good for you. Sean Livingston's a good guy, and it couldn't have happened to a better guy that he went on. And, I know from talking to people that he really does give the Cavaliers credit for giving him an opportunity to showcase himself, to prove that he could still play the game, that got him free agency deals that landed him in Golden State. It's a great story. I'll end with a not so great story. And, the Antonio Brown thing just keeps getting worse and worse. Now the Patriots are saying, we didn't know anything about an assault thing. They don't know anything, do they?
So much for due diligence.
I didn't know they gave hand jobs at this place. They don't know anything. And the NFL's not placing him on an exempt list either, so he can play on Sunday. What I want to know is, what in the hell do the Patriots have to do to incur the wrath of anybody in the league who's at the top? What do they have to do?
Maybe one of Kraft's checks got to bounce or something?
I don't know. Josh Gordon's playing. Josh Gordon is reinstated. We sat and waited week after week after week after week. Nothing in Cleveland. Second he gets there, bing!
Doesn't Kraft have his lawsuit going on too, or his criminal charges?
I don't have no idea. So this woman has stepped out and said that, he raped her. And is it possible? I mean, Ben Roethlisberger did it, got away with it. Why not Antonio Brown?
Yeah, Hunt is missing 8 games. So
you would think that the league would just kind of, seeing as how he's just new there anyway, and really hasn't had time to participate much in the way of practice, that they would take a week and say, hey, let's take a look at these accusations. And if it doesn't seem to hold water, then we'll let him play. But you see, suddenly the innocent until proven guilty thing, everything gets reversed when it's the Patriots, you know? In Cleveland, you're guilty until you're proven innocent. New England, you're just innocent.
And they're playing Miami.
Yeah.
How much of a difference is Brown going to make playing Miami? They're favored by almost 18 points.
Yep. 18 and a half now.
Yeah. It might as well be 3 touchdowns by the time Sunday rolls around. It's not going to matter.
And meanwhile, Bill Belichick saying he's got a long way to go, not familiar with our offense. The systems he's been in have been quite different. He's working hard to pick it up, and we're working hard to get it to him.
It's on to Miami.
Yeah, but the league isn't stepping in. League had no problem stepping in many other cases. Not here.
And now he wants to learn the offense and actually try.
Yeah, I mean, and
Business as usual.
The last thing, Miami defensive back Minkah Fitzpatrick okayed to seek a trade. You see, we heard that story that the veterans, he's not even a veteran. He's a second-year rookie, a second-year player. My goodness. People are looking to get out of Miami already. Isn't that something?
Yep.
And he was a big-time draft pick. He was the 11th overall pick in 2018. He's pissed off because they keep moving him around the field in their efforts to tank Minkah Fitzpatrick, who's a cornerback, is being put as a strong safety in the middle of the field, and he doesn't have the size to do it. So it's unbelievable.
It could be the Panthers. Could be worse.
Yeah.
Yeah, Fitzpatrick could have a sore arm or something.
Yeah. Well, that's it. I'm finished with what I have to say today. And let's hope. I mean, it's going to be a very busy Monday. We have a Moohead show at 6 o'clock. We'll have a halftime show, probably sometime in the vicinity of 9:45. And we'll have a post-game show afterwards, probably close to 11:30.
Game starts at 8:15.
Yeah. So, we'll be there. We're going to hold your hand all the way through this monstrosity and see what happens. Let's hope for the very best. Guys, thanks for showing up and helping me out today. I do appreciate it.
No problem.
Okay, we'll be back again come Monday first with the Moohead program at 6 o'clock, which will be a true pregame show. And we'll talk more specifically about who will play, who won't play, all of the good stuff that we find out at the last minute. And then we'll be back with you halftime and postgame on Monday. All the way. Thanks for tuning in. And until next time, hasta la vista, Pastor Heads. Good night.